Greetings, my friends. I want to thank you all for subscribing. I want to thank all of my channel members for supporting me in this endeavor to save pop culture. And if you are not subscribed, please consider supporting this channel. We need you. Thank you. My friends, what you're about to see is rather unusual, even for this channel. And to explain why this is so unusual, I'd like to give you some background on what's going on. There is a major upheaval going on inside Lucasfilm right this minute. The Civil War is heated up and is about to become very public as the pro-Favreau forces are lining up to make a last stand to save Star Wars. The Forbes article, blasting Disney for firing Gina Carano, I am told, really shook Disney up and may have been part of a strategy on the part of Lucas loyalists to get the word out about how badly and thoroughly Kathleen Kennedy has broken the Star Wars brand. In light of that, I have been provided this information from sources I'm told are, shall we say, intimately involved in this conflict. Yesterday, I received a communication respectfully asking me to get this out to you. I think because certain factions inside Lucasfilm want you to see the tragedy of Gina's firing for yourselves by understanding just how cool Favreau's plans for Cara Dune were and how her presence was going to impact the larger Star Wars universe. What I'm about to share with you is reportedly an overview of what Jon Favreau plotted out for Cara Dune throughout all the Favreauverse series. Cara Dune was going to be a major part of Favreau's plans if this leak is to be believed, and the firing of Gina Carano has thrown everything into chaos. It is my feeling that I was leaked Jon Favreau's plans for Cara Dune to alert the fans of the narrative damage done to Star Wars by this idiotic move. And so while I cannot confirm this information for myself and must therefore ask you to take it as unverified rumor with a grain of salt, I have gotten specific and repeated requests to publicize this from contacts inside Lucasfilm, which is something of a rarity, which makes me believe we might be able to take this particular rumor with a little bit less salt this time around. So I am told that Jon Favreau was working on an overall outline for all his Star Wars series on Disney+, in and of itself a massively refreshing change from the slapdash, haphazard approach that Kathleen Kennedy took with the sequel trilogy, allowing scripts to be written with absolutely no overall plan. Such an approach invites the very incompetence and incoherence that characterized Kennedy's miserable failures, and Jon Favreau is not going to make that mistake. Unfortunately, his outline now is pretty much trashed unless they bring Gina Carano back, but just so you know, here's a portion of what Favreau was planning. If you recall, in Season 2 of The Mandalorian, an older X-Wing pilot had given Cara Dune a badge. Technically, though she wasn't officially a marshal in the Book of Fett, the old man was going to go get Cara Dune for backup and more or less force her into helping him track down a rogue group, a group he only knew of at that time as the Batch. In order to pressure her, he was going to use the fact that Cara Dune let Bill Burr go at the end of that episode in Season 2 of The Mandalorian as leverage over her. This information was eventually going to lead into the Rangers of the New Republic series. Rangers of the New Republic was going to be a really kick-ass show, essentially pitched as Tombstone meets The Magnificent Seven. If you thought that The Mandalorian was a spaghetti western, just wait until you got a look at the Rangers of the New Republic. Gina would be the leader of this band, along with The Mandalorian, the assassin seen with Boba Fett in the Book of Fett, the old X-Wing pilot, and a number of other characters. As referenced earlier, the bad guys would be the Bad Bunch. Somewhere in the middle of the first season, the old guy would get killed, but in his dying breath, he would tell Cara Dune he had planned for her to replace him all along, that there was something dark coming, something she needs to prepare for, because no one in the New Republic will listen to him on this regard. He gives her his badge, telling her, quote, "This is all you need," unquote, as he dies. Thus Cara Dune becomes the Marshal. The Rangers of the New Republic then have a sort of crossover with the Bad Batch as they fight against them, But as the series progresses, their struggle against the Bad Batch would have become more desperate. In the current outline, the Rangers would have been pushed back to a final last stand, and just when it looks like they're about to be overrun, a hooded figure drops out of nowhere, telling the group to lay low. This mysterious character walks forward and easily dispatches the troops with her blood-orange lightsaber. She's been tracking the old man who recruited Cara Dune for reasons she will not reveal, and she convinces Cara Dune to continue the work the old man was doing. She then leaves on a ship that many EU fans would recognize, because this is the story that Jon Favreau was creating for Gina Carano, and that figure was going to be Darth Talon. As I reported several months back, Favreau and Filoni were looking to bring in Darth Talon from the EU in defiance of Kennedy's trashing of the EU. For those of you who don't know, Darth Talon was a female Lethan Twi'lek who became a Sith Lady in Darth Krayt's One Sith in 137 ABY. Talon was styled with black Sith tattoos covering her body, including her head and Leku. Each tattoo had been earned in ritual combat and inscribed by Krayt himself. As a Sith apprentice, she was trained by a fellow Twi'lek Sith Lord named Darth Ruin, whom she later killed on Krayt's command with a swift, decapitating strike of her lightsaber, shortly before ascending to the rank of a fully fledged Sith in Krayt's order. Recognizing her unshakable loyalty, Krayt anointed Talon as one of his two hands, thus making her an extension of the Dark Lord's own will. In this capacity, Talon found herself working alongside the hand counterpart, Darth Nihil. Talon was often tasked with her master's most important missions, including the capture of the Jedi fugitive Cade Skywalker and his training in the ways of the dark side of the Force until her apprentice renounced the One Sith. Talon always remained loyal to her lord Darth Krayt, even during Darth Weirlock's attempted takeover of the One Sith, aiding Krayt in his discovery and along with Nihil fighting off the Sith who stood between Krayt and his former voice, witnessing his return to power. When Darth Krayt finally fell during the Battle of Coruscant, she entered hiding along with the rest of the One Sith, working from concealment to achieve their goals by less overt means. So why was this leaked to me? I believe that someone in Lucasfilm is deeply disappointed that this storyline will most likely be heavily altered or scrapped moving forward, all because Gina Carano got fired. And it is rumored that Kathleen Kennedy and her minions were behind this firing. Imagine, if you will, being responsible for putting together an interconnected universe of TV shows and properties. You count on having certain resources, but then those resources are stripped away from you, leaving you holding an empty outline. It's a staggering loss. All because Gina Carano was a target for those with an agenda that she didn't fit into. My heart goes out to Jon Favreau, who by all accounts I hear is still struggling on trying to find a way to save Star Wars despite all the internal resistance. When asked what his plans were now, Favreau's answer, according to my source, was that he's not sure what the future holds. Till KK is gone, he's gonna have to play it close to his vest. When asked why he hasn't come out in defense of Gina Carano publicly, his answer was allegedly, if he does, it would make things even harder, and there's a possibility he could even get the axe himself. Treat this as rumor, folks. I haven't spoken to the man, but according to this source, Jon Favreau knows he can't effect change if he's not at Star Wars, and he wants to save it if he can. And so, the Lucasfilm Civil War rages on, and here is the latest dispatch sent to you from the front. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha.